friends, thanks for joining us. Smash that subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow. We can't thank y'all enough. This Grey Cup rush and Grey Cup fun has been amazing for the channel. So shout out to y'all for helping us out. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Yeah, you can find us, Ray Benny Sports. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everyone's favorite TikTok. Of course, check us out on Discord and Reddit, and leave us a rating on your favorite podcast provider.
Yes, eventually we will change these backgrounds. You will see some Canada Life Center, Winnipeg Jets kind of things going on. But for right now, it's all about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. It's all about the Grey Cup. It's all about the fourth straight visit and trying to win a championship. We're going to try a new segment, actually. It's called The Point After. We're going to revisit the Western Final. We went off pretty good last episode. We said some good stuff. So go visit that one. It's still fresh. But the point after, anything missed that you'd like to talk about the Western Final?
It's funny because we did cover a lot of points, but kind of the steps that there was a first step that got to these big points. It was weird when I rewatched the highlights. Like even on that BC first drive, I wasn't in the stadium yet because we were stuck in line. The lines were long coming off those buses. So I missed that first drive. And when you talked about Milzel's run and all that, I was like, it was a little foggy. I was like, what? So I rewatched that and I watched that first drive. BC moved that ball down the field. They got that Milzel run. And then the D stepped up and sacked Vernon Adams and dropped them back. They ended up settling for a field goal. But you would think BC, if they scored off that one, that would have been a huge momentum boost. But again, that Bomber D stepped up and again in that situation and held them to a field goal. So when I rewatched that, I was like, "Whoa, that was a big first stop for the Bomber D."
Yeah, and they got that pass interference too.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that kept that drive going. Right.
While it was there, I was like, "That's weak," but then I saw Nichols hold the jersey for a bit. Yes. I'm like, "All right, that's fair." Yeah. And good on Mike O'Shea for not throwing the challenge flag on that one.
Yeah, that was a good call. Watching that replay again, yeah, you see him grab him for sure.
I'm going to shout out the fans once again. Like, truly, it was a madhouse on Matheson. And, who made that name moniker up? Was it Darren Bombing? Was it Derek Taylor? Who? Does anyone know? Does anybody know who made up the name the Madhouse on Matheson? We'd like to know. Put in the comment section below. Any which way. And they were loud all the way to the end. Fourth quarter, BC down by 11. 24-13. They have the ball in the Bomber 51. VA is in the shotgun, 4 receivers to the right. The play clock has less than 10 seconds left, trying to communicate to his receivers what to do. Play clock's running. Clock is running. They can't stop, and it's too loud to do anything. So he hurries the snap. The O-line is overwhelmed. It's really a 3-man rush, sending Brian Cole, that wicked linebacker who got sack number 10 for the Bombers. And it certainly pushed the Lions out of range.
Yeah.
Like we kind of talked about that sack, but those were the conditions that the Bomber fans provided. They messed up that play at a very important moment.
Yeah, there was a few of them. And even on that first drive, I think they were getting that one play where Vernon Adams ended up getting sacked on. They were getting to it very late and snapping it very late. And so, yeah, it ends up making a mistake on BC's side and benefit for Winnipeg. But, yeah, that was a big play too.
Man, I'm really liking this Brian Cole dude. Like the past few weeks, he's been stepping up his game and getting his spot duty. He kind of reminds me of Javon Santos Knox. He's just a great athlete. Dude played wide receiver at Michigan.
Wow, that's pretty good.
That's crazy. Yeah. And then to transition to a defensive player and to play linebacker at Mississippi State. He's so good. He's going to be a great linebacker in the CFL, and I do hope it's with the Bombers.
Next man up. The Bombers got a few of them.
Linebacker might have to be a position where next man steps up. We'll talk about that on Friday. I said Thursday, but Thursday we're recording. I meant Friday release. I was excited. Excited.
Yes.
Any other points after?
I was trying to remember, did we talk about Kyrie Wilson's INT?
No.
And a big play there as well. Jeffcoat with the tip up in the air. A few Bombers went after it, and Kyrie Wilson came down with it. I do believe it led to a field goal. No, was that the missed field goal or it led to a field goal?
Led to a field goal.
No, that led to a field goal. The drive before that was the missed one. But yeah, that was a big play as well. BC at midfield, and great defensive play again by Jeffcoat. We talked about his sacks, but we didn't talk about that tip ball at all. And the Bombers pounced on that one.
Yeah, man, that defense. So many plays. So many plays that game that we probably didn't even mention in detail. Good catch on that one. The play I don't think we mentioned at all was that crazy Kenny Lawler catch.
Yes.
2nd and 6, uh, with less than 3 minutes to go, I think, or 9 minutes left, I think. All in shotgun, and Caleros just puts one up in the air, and Lawler goes about a foot in the air, 3 yards forward, catches it, gets his elbow in,
Yeah.
and continues the drive. Unfortunately, there were no points. That was a doink off the
Doink.
bar.
Yeah.
With the early music sound check. And we mentioned Castillo. We probably, weren't very positive about him. He's a great kicker, but it is an eyebrow raiser. It's not concerning that he missed the field goals that he missed, but it's an eyebrow raiser.
Yes, it is for sure. Because I mean, like we say, the weather was not bad. There was a bit of a wind, but even on the one of them, he had the wind behind him, and then even on the doink, it wasn't that far away. So they're very, there was 2 makeable field goals right there that he should have had. So I expect him to bounce back anyways for next game. He usually cleans himself up pretty good after having a bad game. So, and the funny thing too, that Lawler catch right before that, he had another one on the other side of the field. A nice toe grab along the sidelines.
Yes.
Nice pass in that too. So yeah, he had 2 big passes on that, and then included later on that pass interference, which led to the last field goal of the game. So big game for him, stepping up with all the Bombers receivers down.
Lawler has been great at getting those pass interference calls for the Bombers this year. Like, if you replace those with catches, I'm sure his stats would be pretty better.
Pretty good, yeah.
Pretty. I was gonna go there, but I was gonna any which way. Castillo will be good in the Grey Cup. I can't wait. And the wind is not as big as a factor in your field up there, because it's built so much more underground or lower than ground level than the field back here. The wind was crazy back here at Canadians.
Oh, yeah.
But still, that day, the Western Final, it was gusting periodically.
Yeah.
So maybe that kind of did mess with his timing. Yeah, but you get a big gust, you're like, oh, I got to adjust. He smoked it low, no wind. It goes a little, So who knows? Who knows what was going on?
I do agree. I mean, there was times where you're watching it, there's no wind coming, all of a sudden now there's a big burst, and there was some snow on the roof that kept coming down every once in a while too.
Yeah.
Is it snowing? It's like, what the heck's going on here? So
I know.
Yeah, I do agree on that one.
I was on the visitor side of the field. I'm like, why is it only snowing on that side of the field? That makes no sense.
I kept looking to the side to see if it was coming in from the side and starting to snow. I'm like, what's happening here? So
Mother Nature showed herself a little.
Oh, for sure. She did enough.
Yeah. Any other missed converts or the point after? It's a new segment. I don't know the name yet.
We talked about it. We talked about that McInnes catch, the Demario Houston interception, all that, and we didn't I don't think we pieced it together when I was rewatching stuff. McInnes crazy catch, and then right there, the next play after that was the Houston interception as Vernon Adams was going back to McInnes. So again, D stepped up again. When they needed to. Again, another time I was going to mention in the start of the second half. Good return for BC to midfield. D stepped up, stopped them, didn't let them go anywhere. So it's like the D, anytime they gave up something decent, next play they were on top of it and causing a turnover or causing a sack or anything like that. So again, props to them.
Can I be the reality check asshole for a second?
You can be.
Thank you. If we look at it, the Bombers didn't get by the Lions much without that blocked punt touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
If you take that out of the conversation, it's a very close game. And that was a huge momentum boost and game changer. Again, because we mentioned the offense couldn't get much going. And I'm sure we'll talk about that going into the game against the Montreal defense in the Grey Cup. But yeah, I don't want to be an asshole. I love the Bombers through and through since the womb, but I'm just saying, offering a different perspective.
Well, they'll need some work. That first, like we said, that first drive was big for the Bombers, and that was mainly most of the, the rushing yards. Caleros had a few good passes here and there, but the offense just couldn't get it done, and they didn't look very crisp at all after that first drive. So, yeah, they're gonna have to step up big. Montreal's D is playing better than BC's D is, coming into these games.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be a tougher matchup for sure, and that front line for Montreal is gonna be ferocious.
I can't wait to
Yeah.
talk about these Grey Cup matchups coming up Friday. How did the Bombers match up with the Owls this season? Let's look back at 2023, 2 games. Let's talk about like memorable plays, primetime performers, gaffes. I'll start off. Let's start off with the Canada matchup in Montreal. Caleros less than 200 yards, I think.
Yeah.
2 TD. One to Wolotarski, one to Schoen. Wolotarski, off the top of my head, without proof of stats or analytics, because I don't like those, I think he enjoys playing against Montreal.
Yeah.
If I can remember correctly, he gets touchdowns, not a lot in the basket, but he gets a lot of touchdowns. And Oliveira put up 120 on 20 yards. So offense, again, tough against Montreal.
Yeah, I agree on that one. Not the greatest games, Claros. And you look at the stats of that game, and they're actually pretty similar yards wise. Because Fajardo threw for 270, whereas Claros 177. The rushing, all that matches up. The biggest difference in that game was the turnovers. For Montreal, had 5 turnovers. Winnipeg only had 3. The total yards were 362 to 363.
Yeah.
Right. It was close. And then the time of possession, though, was in favor of the Bombers by almost 7 minutes. So those are the 2 big differences in that game, the turnover, time of possession. And again, that D just shut down Montreal and didn't allow Fajardo to really get anything going at all.
Yeah, I'm going to say this, maybe stealing one from you, because you mentioned this a couple times, but there were a few occasions where Fajardo got out of trouble, where he fought through sacks, and he got through those that would have killed drives and would have probably got momentum on the Bombers' side, especially in a 17-3 game. That was the score of the first one. Yes.
Yeah.
So they got to finish those off when they get to the house.
Well, yeah, if you look at it, Fajardo had 40 yards rushing. And he was also sacked 5 times in that game. But yeah, like you say, there was at least 2 or 3 more that should have happened. There was one close to their own end zone as well, Montreal's end zone, where he got away. So Bombers will have to be aware of that in that one, or in this game coming up, I mean.
Yeah, Jefferson and Lawson each had 2 sacks in that game.
Yeah.
Wow. Any other thoughts on first game or those matchups all together against Montreal in 2023?
Again, the second one, it was just more like the first one was close. The second one, yeah, ended up getting blown out, but that one started off very close, and it only really stayed close, or was close, because Colaros was throwing up interceptions that got returned for touchdowns, 2 of them by Montreal in this game, 2 both in the first half. And it ended up giving Montreal the lead. Winnipeg ended up taking the lead back late in that half, and then never looked back, especially in the second half. So different game in that one. Montreal stayed in only because of their D. And again, that's probably what they're going to have to do to win this Grey Cup.
Yeah, that started horribly with that pick 6.
Yeah.
Sean Lemon was pressuring him with Jamal Davis. And, rather than throwing it out of bounds, and we've seen this a couple times from Zach Caleros. And, who am I to judge one of the greatest quarterbacks in Bomber history? But we're not used to seeing that in seasons prior, where he's kind of just chucking it up into the middle of the field or into double or triple coverage when he's on the run and in trouble, when the other option is to throw it out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that was not a good game. 4 touchdowns to 3 picks. Second pick came in the Montreal territory into double coverage to Ducoy. And then the following drive again, and this is the second game. Ducoy got it. Beautiful pick off a Montreal blitz. He panicked and just threw it away. So that's a bit of a concern, obviously, coming out of those 2 games.
Well, and it's funny because that last game that Claros had played was the Elks game, where he had thrown a couple picks and, pick 6s, got hurt. And then Drew Brown played the next game against Calgary. So this was Claros's first game back, and we're watching him throw more pick 6s. And like you say, 3 interceptions this total game, but ended up throwing 4 TDs and ended up getting the Bombers offense back on track. And the D for Winnipeg held Montreal to no points in the second half again. So really, the D gave up 6 points to Montreal's offense, right, in both games. So again,
exactly,
as much as Montreal's D is very good, Winnipeg's is also very good. And I take Claros over Fajardo in this situation. So it'll be an interesting one. Claros has just got to limit any mistakes at all.
Yeah, and Fajardo did have a good second game. I think he put up 270 or something like that. And was the first game? The first game was
270.
First game was 270, and he had the long ball, and that was it. he never really had prolonged drives. So
No.
Julian Grant and Austin, maybe both of them broke 100 that game,
Yeah, the
or
first
pretty
game.
darn
Yeah.
close to it. So, but Brendan Alexander's been looking really good these past few weeks. And again, I don't want to start talking about the Grey Cup because we got a lot of material, a lot of content for that coming up on Friday. But man, if Fajardo has time, he'll get the deep balls. But other than that, he can't get a drive going because the pressure from the Bombers D line has been so consistent and the O line for Montreal has been so inconsistent.
Well, yeah. And so he had 137 passing and only -2 yards rushing. Not only he did not have any yards rushing. So that's a big difference from the first game to the second game as well. Instead of the 40 yards rushing, they held him down to only -2. Do you think Montreal takes anything out of this? They look back on this and kind of get some motivation to the fact that the Bombers were still putting up Claros touchdowns late in this fourth quarter or kind of earliest late. Do you think they'll look at that and take any motivation from it, thinking the Bombers are running up the score?
Man, I think their motivation right now is when Sankey said, "We will not lose anymore." And they have not lost
Yeah.
anymore since then. That's what they're going to. What happened with the Bombers? This is a different team now.
Yeah.
This is clearly a different team. So yeah,
Defensively,
they might get a little motivation. Yeah, exactly. Offensively, it's pretty much
still the
darn the
same.
same. So yeah, they might get a little bit of motivation from that, but we'll see. Also Nick Dembski, that second game, he was a good Canadian Swiss Army knife, putting up 100 total yards, a nice good 20-yard run, and I hope he does a lot of that in the Grey Cup because they'll need that with that aggressive defense. Oh,
Yeah.
look, I'm sorry talking about the Grey Cup
Yep.
already. Stop, guy. Just stop and wait for it. Anything else you want to talk about after those first two games in 2023 that might be a factor or that you found interesting?
No, I mean, just looking back, that first game was a lot closer than I thought. Just the score was, Montreal's or offense couldn't score. The second one was close for a bit too, but other than that, just got to limit the turnovers. A lot of turnovers for Claros in both of these games and the Bombers. So
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see if not we'll see. We'll
yeah,
see. We'll talk about that on Friday. Shh. We'll talk about some Grey Cup memories right now as Bomber fans and as CFL fans. We got top 5-ish, maybe more. We'll see how it goes. What are your top 5-ish Grey Cup memories?
most of them for me involve the Bombers. Obviously, I'm going to go back to '88 because that's basically my first memory of the Bombers winning the Grey Cup. I know I was born in '84, but I grew up in a family that didn't necessarily watch football all the time or anything like that. So I don't even know if I watched that '84 Grey Cup. So '88 for me would have been probably the first time
Hold on,
I
hold on,
sat
hold
there.
on. Hold on. No, you're the same age as me. You were not born in 84.
Sorry, I was born in whatever. I was born before
Just making
84 is what I
sure.
meant. Yeah,
Just
born
making
before
sure.
84. I went to games here and there. I don't remember the '84 Grey Cup. I know I went to the
Mm.
'87 East Final and stuff like that. So '88, watching that was probably the first Grey Cup for me to watch the Bombers win.
Yeah, the 84 Grey Cup. I do remember very small bits of it. The play I do remember, though, is Joe Poplawski getting a touchdown. I was 6. Joe Poplawski getting a touchdown. And I remember it because I had to run to the washroom to tell my dad, who was in the bathroom, that Joe Poplawski scored. And that's why I remember it. Not because I was watching the TV and that was crazy.
Yeah.
By that time, they were really momentum. They're going to win that game. But I just remember because I had to tell my dad because he was in the washroom and he missed the play. So I remember that one. Uh, and the 88 Grey Cup that you mentioned, specifically that immaculate interception.
Yeah.
Matt Dunnigan driving with the Lions deep in bomb. They're inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah.
And someone tipped it. Maybe it might have been Stan Mikowas who tipped the ball. Michael Gray got the pick, and that was crazy.
Yeah. And then BC still had a chance after that, too.
Yeah.
Because
And that was a
Bombers gave
crazy.
up the safety and all that. So yeah, as much as you thought that interception was it, you can breathe a bit. It's like, oh crap, they're getting the ball back, right? And all they
Yeah.
needed was a field goal at that point.
And
So
that was that crazy windy day that made
yeah.
Bob Cameron the most valuable Canadian.
Yes, exactly.
The punter.
Yeah.
Legend. That guy's a legend. Any more Grey Cup memories?
2019. It ended that huge drought. Watching them finally beat Hamilton for that Grey Cup victory because we watched many losses over the years since their last one in '90. Right, they made a bunch of Grey Cups, couldn't finish it off. So watching that 2019 Grey Cup win against Hamilton was sweet too.
Oh, no doubt. I was so happy. Porridge and Maine, like right away, yelling in the house. My mom was like, "What are you doing?" Because family tradition, we always watch a Grey Cup as a family. So, oh, that was a good time. You say breaking the streak. I'll go with a bad memory, not breaking a streak. In 2001, we had an amazing roster. I know y'all don't want to hear about this one, but hey, if you want to hear it from a player's perspective, go check out our Jerron Bolden interview. He talks
Yeah.
about that 2001 Grey Cup, all the optimism there. We just thought they were unstoppable. They had a great defense, and it was till the end. We thought they were down by 8 with,
Yeah.
last play of the game. We had Kahari, we had Milt. We thought it might happen, and then sack.
It did not happen. It did not happen. Yeah. Like you say, dominant team, great, dominant offense, really great defense. And then the Grey Cup, 3 missed field goals, a blocked punt, even,
Oh,
it was weird. It was not meant to be, right? So, and then they had gone through so many losing seasons as well. Not even since winning, they hadn't won since 1990.
yeah.
So many crappy years, the Ryan Bold years, and all that stuff. So this was kind of going to wash that all away, and then it did not.
We were together on that day.
Yes, we were.
It was a sad day. I was hosting. I didn't kick you guys out though.
No, you did not. You let us stay, but we were all out of there anyways. We're all wanted to go grieve in our own process.
Yeah, that cleared up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I also remember you were at that Grey Cup, so I'm not going to tell this story. I just remember on TV seeing some kind of thing being thrown at Rocket Ishmael's feet.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us what it was like at that Grey Cup and what the F happened?
It was flipping cold. I was on the other side, the temporary seats, the end zone, front row at least in there. But my God, it was cold, minus 16, Calgary, Toronto. But man, what a star-studded event with Gretzky, Candy, Bruce McDowell, and like you say, Calgary just tied that game up, and Rocket Ishmael took that kick return back. It ended up being a beer. I don't remember. I seen the thing get thrown on the field. I didn't know at the time if it was a beer or not until replays, but it was crazy. He just missed him.
Yeah.
It was unreal. But yeah, it was cold, but it was fun.
Talk about brutal halftime shows. And I apologize to the band that did the halftime show at the West Final. It wasn't personal really about the band. It was just in comparison to what Toronto did and maybe what the league, sorry. I didn't y'all are a great band. I've had a great time at Canadians at IG, but I'm just saying at the time. That was emotional.
Do you remember who the halftime show was in 91?
It was like Burton Cummings and some garbage.
Probably, yes. That probably makes sense.
It's forgettable.
I was probably inside in the bathroom trying to heat up with the heaters in there with everybody else.
Yeah, just standing in line at the trough.
Oh, jeez, the trough. Good God.
Any which way. I'm going to share a non-bomber memory, that Eddie Brown catch in 1996 in Hamilton when Danny McManus just bombed it to him and it went off his hands, and then he kicked it with his feet, went into his hands, and he took it for a touchdown. That was a crazy Grey Cup in Hamilton. I didn't know make that connection. So, shit. Any other memories?
We got to mention the Saskatchewan 2009 13th man, right?
Well, we don't have to, but
that was a great memory. Heartbreak for Saskatchewan or whatever, but still crazy ending to me in that game with the 13th man, the re-kick and all that stuff. It was nuts to watch because I thought Saskatchewan, and along with everybody else, thought Saskatchewan had just won the Grey Cup.
Man, that was crazy. Paul LaPolice, I was throwing that.
Still is that.
You and I went to a Grey Cup at Canadian Stadium. That was crazy.
Yeah. 06, right?
Together, that was crazy. I was on. Let's talk about the CFL Awards.
Yeah, what happened to the 06 Grey Cup?
Nothing. I was just going to a memory about what I was doing. I had a good time. I was on fun. I was having a lot of fun. Let's just say that.
We were in those temporary seats, which they packed to the house in there, and I thought those things were going to collapse.
For sure.
Oh my God, yeah.
Man, that was a good time.
Yeah,
that was a great time. I ended up with a BC Lion toque.
Yes. Yeah, BC Montreal, right?
That was crazy. That was a good time. Any other Grey Cup memories before we move on?
No, that's probably it for now.
I know. Oh, Greg Battle. Interception. Crazy performance. 1990 Grey Cup. I thought that was great.
That whole 90 Grey Cup was crazy.
Oh, they whooped Edmonton's ass. Let's go to the CFL Awards. Who will win? Why? Very quickly. Coach of the year. Who do you got?
I'm going to go with Dinwiddie. 16-2, 9-0 at home, kind of thing. Great season for them, obviously, until a couple days ago. But yeah, Dinwiddie probably gets it for me.
I'll go with Dinwiddie. The media bought into that hype. 16-2. I don't mean to be rude, but again, The beginning of that season was a son of a gun. Who do you got for rookie? So I agree, Ryan Dinwiddie. Who do you got for rookie?
Let's go with Quantez Stiggers. 5 interceptions, 5 pass knockdowns, 56 total tackles. Gray also had a very good season, but Toronto or Stiggers being on Toronto and a winning team probably helps him.
Yeah, I'll go to the Toronto person too, Stiggers, because I like his name. Also, 5 interceptions, and he wasn't a full-time starter for the whole season. So yeah.
I think he got one against the Bombers too, didn't he?
Son of a gun. Special teams, I got Javon Leake again. Wow, that's 3 in a row for Toronto. Hey, at least they win something on our YouTube channel /podcast. But honestly, dude was great. 4 punt returns for touchdowns, almost tied Gizmo. So yeah, special teams, Javon Leake.
Yeah, I got to go with the returner too. Like you said, 4 punt return touchdowns, all that. He ended up 3rd total highest in CFL history with 16 punt return yards. So I'll give it to him over the kicker.
Who do you got for lineman?
Oh my goodness. I'm looking at this going, I went too many Toronto guys here. I picked Dejon Allen over Hardrick here. Just, a little bit better offensively. Only gave up 19 sacks total, 7.3 yards per carry. And I know Hardrick and the Bomber O-line did a great job too, but I give it to Allen.
I give it to Allen. That sack total was crazy, and they had a great regular season. Yeah. So that's 4 in a row for Toronto. Wow. They're not going to sweep it though.
No.
For Canadian, come on. I got the safety.
Yeah.
I got the safety from Montreal. He's crazy.
Oh, what? Really? Oh, you shocked me a little bit there.
Why?
Brady Oliveira, man.
I know. I'm joking.
I was like, what? I was like, yeah, because I figured what you were going to say, and then what?
Oh. Of course, I'm going to go with Brady just playing. Brady Oliveira. What else do I got to say?
Yeah, pretty good season for Decoy too, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
He had a wicked season, just at the wrong time to kind of win an award. But yeah, Brady Oliveira.
Who do you got for defense?
Where is my defense guy? I'm going with Matthew Betts. It's hard to go against the 18 sacks, 44 tackles. Also 3 tackles for a loss, 3 sack fumbles, block punt, man. Great season.
Talk about a full-time defender. The guy on Toronto, Pickett, he was crazy. But yeah, I can't go against Matthew Betts. Also, I'm a little biased because he's Canadian. 18 sacks, crazy. So yeah, Matthew Betts. MOP. I'm going to go with Chad Kelly. Same reason as I gave for Ryan Dinwiddie.
Yeah, as much as I feel like Brady should win this one, I'm going with Kelly as well. Fairly good season, like you say. Schedule, it makes a difference and all that, but he still put up some good stats and everything like that. So gonna have to give it to him, unfortunately.
No, unfortunately, it's all good.
He did have a very good season. I just want to see Brady Oliveira win it. But as long as Oliveira wins the Grey Cup, it doesn't really matter.
Exactly. They vote on the regular season. The voting is kind of weird. Same as the All-Star, that they have to have East, West. You got to relook at that. That's crazy. Bomber fans, even CFL fans, not Bomber fans, even CFL fans, Bomber fans and CFL fans, put your comments below. Give us your points after in the Bomber Talk. Give us your Grey Cup memories. What are your favorite top 5? Give us your favorite number 1 Grey Cup memory and tell us who you think will win the CFL Awards and why. Benny, anything to say to our friends?
You know what? Thanks a lot for listening. Don't forget, subscribe and follow, and we'll talk to you in a couple of days.
Yeah, and I'm not going to have quotes for the next couple of days. It's really all about the Grey Cup. It's all about that Bomber energy. It's all about showing love. Thanks, Bomber Nation, for helping us grow in the past couple of days. It's been amazing. So shout out to y'all. Hashtag for the W. Enjoy the Grey Cup, and we'll see y'all on Friday. Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.